We're going to start in our comfortable seated position this evening. So feel free to make your way there. And as always, whatever that means for you is fabulous. So yours might look similar to mine when I get down there. It might look a little bit different than mine. And either way, that's fine. We'll just start with a little bit of body awareness, a little bit of breathing, and just two initial ranges of motion from there. And then we'll get into some deeper stretches, a little bit more work. As you find that comfortable seated position, I invite you to begin by taking your scan of the body. And that scan is just to notice how you're feeling this evening, notice where you're at as we get going, starting from the top of the head, moving down to the tips of the toes. Noticing those points of tension, those places that are maybe a little bit tight because of the way that you sat in your chair today or the way that you slept last night or workout that you did this weekend. And also noticing those places that maybe feel particularly good because of that workout that you did or that extra deep sleep that you got last night, or maybe you had a little bit better posture in your chair today, so you're feeling a little better from the spine. As you take that scan and you notice those places, I want to invite you to take any initial range of motion that may feel good to get you started this evening. So if you found that tension in your lower back, maybe it's a spinal twist. If you found that tension through your torso, through your core, maybe it's a lateral stretch. If you found it through the lower body, maybe you take the legs out long and fold it forward. Maybe it's through the head and the neck. So you roll the head side to side, nice and easy. Taking about 4 more nice deep breaths in any of those initial ranges of motion you may have found. And then bringing it on back to center, finding that nice long spine. All right, so our warm up today is actually going to start down on our back. So I'm just going to turn sideways so that you can kind of see what's going on, so I have a little bit more space. So feel free to make any adjustments if you're not already facing the short edge of your mat. And then we're just going to take a moment, bring it down onto your back, find whatever position on your back feels comfortable. So maybe pulling the knees in towards the chest and rocking a little bit side to side or in little circles feels good. Maybe bending the knees, planting the feet, and windshield wipering those knees. Take a couple moments, couple deep breaths, reevaluate how you're feeling and where you're at in this different position. Come back. There we go. Okay. All righty. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch out those hamstrings a little bit from our back. So I want you to pull that right knee in towards the chest, and then we're gonna extend our left leg out long. So if your hip flexor is a little bit tight, you might feel this through that left leg, through that hip flexor on that left leg. If your hamstrings or your glutes are a little bit tight, you might immediately feel it through the right leg. So just kind of playing around with, can you tap your heel to the ground? Can you pull the knee in a little bit closer towards the chest? Can you pull it towards the side and towards your armpit a little bit? And this is where that hamstring stretch is going to come in. It's going to be on that right leg, and it'll look a little bit different for everyone. So if you got a little bit more flexible hamstrings, maybe from here, you can just straighten the leg, grab those and pull it up. If not, feel free to grab the shin or calf and have it pointing up towards the ceiling. And just take a couple moments, maybe since this is our first lower body stretch, you have a nice bend in that knee, and just pulling it in a little bit closer towards the chest, releasing it, not quite at a pulse, but just a nice, easy, maybe as you inhale, you pull it towards you. As you exhale, you let it go and release that stretch. You should feel tension by the time you hit the edge of your range of motion, but not pain. So pain-free range of motion we're looking for here. We'll take about 3 more nice deep breaths just in this nice easy stretch. Whatever depth of this stretch feels good for you, however deep you can pull into it. Awesome. All right, so we're just gonna release that stretch just slightly. And then I want you to take that right ankle, we're gonna cross it over the left knee as we bend the left knee and plant the foot. So we're bringing it to our figure 4 stretch up next. So this one is focusing on the outside of that right leg and those glutes. You can lift those left feet off of the floor, pull that knee in towards the chest. Maybe you interlace those fingers underneath that left knee. Maybe you put a little pressure there to pull it in a little closer. And maybe we think about pressing that right knee out towards that opposite wall, towards that left foot, to just open a little bit more through the hip and change the stretch here in this figure 4. If this is a little intense, you can always keep that foot planted on the floor and just think about opening through that knee. Excellent. We are going to go ahead and release that left foot down to the floor, but I want you to keep that right ankle crossed over that left knee. We're going to go into a spinal twist from here. So all I'm going to do is just slightly more cross the ankle over the knee. I'm not bringing it down so the knees are crossed, but just a little bit so that my right knee is pointing closer towards the center line of my body. I'm going to take my arms out nice and wide. We're going to take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, I want you to let both knees fall towards that left side. So the right ankle's crossed over the left knee. We're going to exhale and let the knees fall towards the left. If this is kind of intense, you can keep looking towards that left arm or up towards center. But if you want to intensify and complete that spinal twist, you can look over towards those right fingertips that are out in that nice T. This is just an intense version of that spinal twist. We're opening a little more through the outside of the leg. Taking one more nice deep breath here. And then that next inhale is going to bring us back up to center. We're just going to switch legs and do the same thing on the other side. So this time we're taking that right leg out long. We're pulling the left knee in towards the chest. Once you can play around with it, maybe this feels a little bit different on this side. Maybe you're a little bit tighter through that right hip flexor than the left. That's okay. Taking the moment with the knee bend. And go ahead and slowly work into that hamstring stretch. Pulling that foot up towards the ceiling. Maybe once again, you grab for those toes, you can pull back a little further. Maybe the flexibility is not quite there today, so the foot's more up straight or out a little bit, wherever you need to be. And same thing, maybe it's just a really small pulse in and out as you inhale and exhale. Pain-free range of motion, but finding that nice, intense stretch. Excellent. Taking about one more nice deep breath in this stretch. Finding those hamstrings, finding those right hip flexors down towards the floor. And then we're going to take it to our figure 4. So releasing that stretch, bending the right knee, planting the foot, crossing the left ankle over, and then you can pull that right foot up off of the floor, interlace those hands underneath that right knee. Take your moment, think about pressing the left knee out and away to intensify the stretch a little bit. Awesome. Let's take it into our spinal twist. Go ahead and plant that right foot. Take those arms out nice and wide. Slightly crossing that left ankle over a little bit more. Our inhale while those knees are up. And then as you exhale, letting them fall towards that right side. And then once again, maybe you look over towards that left shoulder, those left fingertips that are out long. Our spinal twist here. Go ahead and take one more nice deep breath in this spinal twist on this side. And then go ahead and bring it on back to center. We're gonna go through one more time, a little bit quicker than the last time. So go ahead and uncross that ankle. We're gonna take it right into our hamstring stretch. So right foot, leg goes as long as you need it to, so it can still be a little bent if that feels better. Taking just 2 nice deep breaths. So an inhale and exhale to find that stretch. And then one more in that stretch, big inhale and exhale. Into figure 4, same thing, go ahead right into the version that works best for you, 2 breaths. With that next exhale, planting that left foot, slight extra crossover, arms out to the side, inhale with the knees up, exhale to let them fall over towards that left side, looking over towards that right shoulder if it feels okay on the spine. Nice. Next inhale pulls us back to center. Switch those legs. Same thing other side. 2 breaths in each stretch. Right legs out long, left legs up towards the ceiling. Big inhale and exhale. One more like that. And let's take it to our figure 4, crossing that ankle, bringing it up to where you need it to be. So as always, that foot can be planted if that feels better for you, or you can bring it right up. Excellent. Next exhale releases that foot towards the floor. Slight extra crossover. Inhale while the knees are up, arms out wide. Exhale releases the knees to the right side, looking over that left shoulder. Fabulous. Next inhale brings us back to center. We'll go ahead and take one more moment here on our back, maybe knees in towards the chest. Maybe we windshield wiper those knees while those feet are planted. If there's something a little bit different that's going to feel good, bring it in towards center, or maybe long away from center, a big stretch while we're down on the floor, just like you might in the Shavasana. And then we're going to bring it up to seated. So bringing it on up, we're going to take a couple moments in our butterfly stretch. So pulling the soles of those feet towards each other, those knees fall out wide. And then from here, we're just going to take a couple of moments to find this hip opener. So you can grab those ankles. Maybe you reach out as you fold it forward, but finding your long spine, just folding it forward as far as you can go into that stretch. And with the long spine, you'll see changes where the stretch is. You might feel it a little less through the lower back, a little more through the hips. You can stay right here if it feels good. You can fold it forward a little deeper, rounding out the spine, finding the lower back stretch. And another option, again, if it feels good, if those hamstrings are a little tight and you like that stretch, you can take that right foot and just lengthen it up wherever it needs to go, bring it back in, switch sides. We've got a couple of breaths here. So if that lengthening and pulling back in is not right for you, feel free to just stay in that butterfly, keep that little fold forward. Working on this practice in a place that works for you and a stretch that works for you, whichever one feels a little bit better. Let's take 2 more breaths here, evening out if you did that lengthening and lowering. And bringing it back to center. Nice. All right, we've got a lateral stretch up next. So I want you to keep that left leg folded in, take that right leg out long. We're going to turn our torso just slightly towards that right leg, fold it forward. Fingertips towards your right toes. The left leg is still folded in, sole of the foot's on that inner thigh or right around the knee. We're going to take this into our lateral stretch. So from here, we're in that nice fold. I want you to take that left arm. It's going to look backwards for you, so bear with me. The left arm is going to sweep around and up, so opposite from that long leg. And then we're taking it up over top, so we're lengthening from left fingertips down to that left hip in contact with the mat. Nice and long from there. Nice big stretch through the torso. Fabulous. With your next exhale, we're just going to bring those left fingertips down to meet the right in that fold one more time. And then our inhale is going to roll us up. Sitting that same thing other side. So pulling that right leg in, taking that left leg out long, turn the torso slightly towards it, fold it forward. And when you hit that nice forward fold, take a breath. And then we're going to take it into that lateral stretch. So left fingertips stay towards that left leg, right arm sweeps around and up. Maybe the fingertips just point towards the ceiling. Maybe they come over a little bit further, but we're finding a whole ton of length this time from those right fingertips down to that right hip in contact with the mat. Nice big stretch there. Awesome. Next exhale brings those right fingertips down towards those toes. And then our inhale rolls us up. Awesome. We've got one more stretch from our seated position. And this one's going to be a chest opener. The legs you can kind of play around with, whatever's going to feel good for you. So if that comfortable seat is your cross-leg position, it's fabulous. If knees bent and feet planted feels good, that's fabulous. And you can kind of see where we go with this, just to see which one's going to feel best. So what I want you to do is find your long spine wherever you are. We're going to find our spinal twist. So I want you to take that right arm around behind the back. And that left arm can just come to the outside of the knee, whether you have it down towards the floor or the knees that feet planted. From here, I'm just going to walk my fingertips back a little further than they naturally lie in my spinal twist. I'm going to lift my left fingertips up towards the ceiling, and I'm just going to push forward with my chest. So opening through the left arm, putting a little pressure onto that shoulder, big chest opener, opening your heart towards that kind of corner of the room. And then just a little release. So bringing the chest back in towards your center, bringing that left arm. Maybe it feels good to come down around into a little bit deeper of a twist, and then open back up one more time into that chest opener. So opening through the left arm, putting a little pressure forward as you open through the chest. Releasing, walking those fingertips back in. So finding your long spine, and then we'll just do our same spinal twist in the other direction. So left arm comes around behind. Right arm comes around to the outside of that opposite knee, first spinal twist, and then go ahead and inch those fingertips back a little bit deeper. Lift those right fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then find that heart opening, that chest opening, pressing it forward, opening that right arm towards that opposite side wall. This might be a little intense on that supporting shoulder. Again, pain-free range of motion, but a little intense is okay. Maybe we release one time, once again, bring it back out. All righty, bring it back in, inch those fingertips back in, and bring it back to center. Like I said, a little more warm up today than normal, so we're going to finish out our warm up from hands and knees. Feel free to grab a sip of your beverage and then make your transition on over. Our hands and knees will be pretty basic. We've got our cat and cow, we've got our child's pose to cobra, and then we've got our spinal twist. And then we'll get into our flow for this evening. So a little extra stretch, and that's okay. Sometimes that feels good when you get to hands and knees. Wrists are under shoulders, or maybe a little bit out in front if that feels better for you. Knees are under hips, and go ahead right into that cat and cow. Our inhale presses the belly towards the floor, lifts the chin if that feels good, and those hips up nice and high. And then our exhale rounds the spine up towards the ceiling, tucks the chin in towards the chest, and those hips underneath. Flowing with the pace of your breath here. Nice and easy, in and out of that. So a little bit different of our spinal range of motion than we've done so far today. Excellent. Let's take 2 more nice deep breaths in that cat and cow. When you finish that second one, just go ahead and bring that spine back to that nice neutral. All right, our next one is going to be our child's pose to our cobra stretch. So a little front and backside body. We're going to press those hips back towards those heels, open through the chest. Those palms are planted, nice and sturdy and steady. And then we're going to press it forward, hips coming down towards the mat. As always, your cobra, if that's a little intense, you can be right here, or you can bend those elbows and bring it into your baby cobra for just a little bit less intense of a version of your front side body stretch. Either is excellent, and I want you to just flow a couple times front to back here. So pressing those hips back towards that child's pose or that puppy position, and then pressing them forward into that cobra or baby cobra. So taking a couple moments here. Maybe you flow with your breath. Maybe one of these directions feels really good, and you stay in it for a couple extra breaths. We've got about 4 nice deep breaths here, keeping it moving. So fabulous. Give me one more time in each direction, pressing those hips back towards the heels, and then pressing it forward into that cobra or baby cobra. And then go ahead and bring it back up to hands and knees. Our very final warm-up stretch from there is just going to be our spinal twist from hands and knees. So take your time getting to here. And then I want you to, once again, kind of feel it out. Feel what's going to be right for you. You can move a little slower or faster. You can find a hold in either direction. I want you to lift that right arm up off the floor towards the ceiling. And then we're going to exhale and pull it down and through underneath in that opposite direction. Now you can place it all the way down, shoulder to the floor. You can take it into that half bind for a hold. Or if it feels better to flow with this spinal twist, you can keep it moving with your inhales and exhales. Like I said, kind of making this part your own, basing your pace on what feels good. And you can even just stay in that held spinal twist down with the shoulder towards the floor until I let us know that it's time to switch. So anything that works for you here is fabulous. Taking your time, finding that spinal twist, again, that range of motion that we kind of did with our chest opener. I want you to take one more nice deep breath wherever you are. You're flowing, maybe it's once more up and back down. If you're in that hold, one more breath there, and then we'll bring it back to center and just switch sides. Taking it with that left arm this time. Once again, our inhale takes us up to get us started. Our exhale brings us down and through, and then from there, again, you can find that hold, you can find that half bind, or you can keep it flowing with each breath. Maybe you don't even set the shoulder all the way down on the floor, and that's okay. Couple breaths here, feel it out, feel what feels right. And if the side's a little different than the first, that's totally fine too. Excellent. Let's take one more nice deep breath in this side. Again, if you're holding it down towards the floor, maybe it's just a breath there. If you're flowing, maybe it's once more up and back down. And then we'll bring it back to center. Alrighty, we're gonna make that transition to get our flow started. We're gonna move through our down dog to our forward fold to standing. So go ahead and curl those toes under, press those hips up and back. Take just 2 breaths here, stretch it out. Find those heels pedaling towards the floor, those ears between the biceps. And then go ahead and walk those feet forward to meet those hands into that forward fold. We got a lot of good hamstring stretches at the beginning of this one. So taking that moment here in your fold when you get there, find one more big stretch, and then our inhale brings us to that mountain pose, that long spine, bringing those shoulders low away from the ears. Taking a moment here, shake anything out that you need to, any final range of motion before we get going. And feel free to grab a sip of your beverage as we get settled and started. All right. I am certainly going to do so. And we are going to start our flow in a wide leg mountain. So facing the short edge of my mat, I'm just going to go to the edges of the mat. So it's not any wider than that, but just to the outside edges. So my feet are about at shoulder width, a little wider than shoulder width apart. You can kind of play around with this as we get into that flow, and if you need to go a little wider or a little narrower, and that's fabulous. Let's start with a big inhale, taking the arms out and up. From here, we're gonna fold it forward, fingertips down towards the center, send those hips back, find that long spine, and then exhale into it. Again, we got a lot of good hamstring stretches at the beginning, so finding that deep stretch once again. We're gonna walk those fingertips towards each toe, each set of toes once. So taking it in the first direction one time, either way is excellent. Back through center and over in the second direction. Maybe go around to the outside of those feet, and that feels good, that's fine. Bring it back to center. One final twist in each direction. So left fingertips stay towards the floor. Inhale to open the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. If the fingertips are on the floor, that's excellent. If they're floating off the floor, that's fine, wherever you are. Exhale brings us back down to center, same thing other side. Lift that left fingertips up towards the ceiling, right fingertips towards the floor, and then exhale to bring it back down to center. From here, we're going to step that right leg back nice and long into a lunge. So bend the knees. You can bring those fingertips or those palms to the floor. Right leg comes back closer to the center of your mat. Left leg is still on that outside edge or a little bit wider than it might normally be in our lunge. From here, go ahead and set that right knee down on top of the right foot. We're in our hip flexor stretch here. I'm just going to walk my hands back just slightly because we're just going to put a little bit of pressure on the inside of that left knee. Again, pain-free range of motion. So if that hurts, that finds any pain, a little less pressure, but just a little pressure on the inside of that left knee to open through the hip, open away from your center line while we've got that hip flexor stretch on that right side. Nice. All right. So planting those hands once again. We're going to make a couple of transitions through our three-legged dog here. If you're someone whose wrists give you a lot of issues, you can skip those down dog, those three-legged dogs, and just bring it to our next position in a way that works best for you. Go ahead and curl the right toe under, lift the right knee. We're going to do our three-legged dog to our regular low lunge, so bringing the toes between the hands. So pressing the left foot up and back, and then bending the right knee, sweeping it forward, planting it between the hands. So same as our regular lunge now. Right knee meets the mat again, hip flexor stretch, exhale presses us forward. Inhale presses the hips backward, lengthens the front leg, lifts the front toes, hinge forward those hips, hamstring stretch. Nice, exhale presses us forward. We're gonna transition through our three-legged dog again to our half pigeon. So planting those hands, curl the right toe under, lift the knee, three-legged dog, left leg up and back. And then our pigeon, our half pigeon, brings that foot underneath, the shin meets the mat, top of that right foot meets the mat, we're sinking into those hips right down center. Take a moment here to feel it out, feel what feels good. If you'd like to bring it down to those elbows, top of the hands can meet that forehead. Focusing in on those hips once again, those hip flexors, getting tight from sitting all day. Excellent. If you want to intensify this, and again, an optional stretch, you can bring it up to those hands. Walk that left hand around kind of to the inside where that shin faces, and we'll find that quad stretch. So again, optional if this is a little too intense, feel free not to. Pulling those right toes up towards the ceiling, circling that right arm around to catch that foot. This one's going to be pretty intense on the front side, that hip side of that right leg. Nice and easy exhale releases that if you found it. Bring it back around. Our final three-legged dog is going to transition us to our crescent lunge. So curling the right toe under, lifting the knee, send the hips up as we send our left foot up and back final time, and then sweep it forward, plant it down in between those hands. Once again, our right knee is going to stay off the mat this time as we sweep up into our crescent lunge. Which takes us to our warrior two. Turn the right heel down, open the arms. Peaceful, flips the front palm, lift it up and back. Feel free to find that half bind if you'd like to for a little intensification. Exhale brings us back out to center. Extended side angle. We're going to keep our feet and our hips at the same position. This first one, we're going to bend that left elbow, bring it down to that left knee. Right arm comes up over top, that intense side stretch, just like we did when we were on the floor. Nice. Inhale brings us back up to our warrior two. Triangle finally is going to lengthen that left leg. Hinges forward at those hips, fingertips come out, and then fingertips down towards the floor. Right fingertips go up. Excellent. This is going to take us back crescent. So let's bring that right hand down, that right heel up, bend the left knee. Nice. Step that right foot forward to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale rolls us up to that long spine. Then we're back to the beginning. Take those feet out to that mat width apart. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, fold us forward. We've got to stretch one time in each direction. So toward that first set of toes, back through center, over toward that second set of toes, back to center. Final twist, once in each direction. Left fingertips stay down, right fingertips open up. Exhale through center. Same thing, other direction. Left fingertips open up as right fingertips stay down. Exhale brings us back down to center. From here, we're going to step it back. So that right leg is going to stay forward. Left leg is going to step back long into our lunge. So again, our right leg is out a little bit wide, and that's okay. Our left knee is going to come down immediately. Top of that left foot meets the mat. We're in our low lunge. And then that little bit of pressure on the inside of that right knee. Again, only if it feels okay, if it doesn't cause any pain here, just to open through that hip towards that side wall. All right, once again, let's make that three-legged dog transition to bring it to our regular low lunge. If you don't want that transition, you can just walk that foot in between those hands. Curl the left toe under, lift the knee, right foot up and back, bend that left knee, and then sweep it forward. Once again, we've got our low lunge stretch and our hamstring stretch. So our exhale presses those hips forward. Our inhale presses the hips back, the front leg, lifts the front toes, hinge forward with those hips. Pressing it forward once again. We've got our three-legged dog transition to our half pigeon. Curl the left toe under, lift the knee, right foot goes up and back, and then we bring it forward. Shin meets the mat, top of the left foot meets the mat, sinking those hips down right in between. And once again, taking a moment, feel out what feels right. Maybe you bring it down a little lower. Maybe you bring that forehead to the backs of those hands. A couple breaths there before we take that quad stretch. Excellent. If you would like that quad stretch, that next inhale brings you to that long spine. This time, that right hand we're going to use for support, kind of right in front of that shin. Going to bend the left knee as we take those left toes up towards the ceiling. And then if you can reach that left hand around, catch that foot, pulling it into whatever intensity feels good. And again, this might be a very intense stretch for you. That's okay. It is meant to be. Excellent. Next exhale, releases. Toes come down towards the mat, planting those hands. Our final transition through our three-legged dog brings us to our crescent. Throw the left toe under, lift the knee. Send that right foot up and back, and then bring it forward, plant it down. This time that left knee stays off the mat. As we inhale, sweeps the arms up, find our balance, find your core. Warrior two, turns the left heel down, opens the arms. Peaceful, flip the front palm, lift it up and back. Nice front side body stretch. Exhale, brings us back up to center. Here comes that extended side angle. Bend that right elbow, bring it down to that right knee. Left arm comes up over top. Nice big side body stretch. Inhale brings us back up to that nice long spine. Here comes our triangle. Lengthen that right leg. Hinge forward the hips like someone's trying to hand you a $100 bill. When you hit the edge of your range of motion, right fingertips come down, left fingertips come up. Using your core to keep that long spine. From here, we're taking it back down into that crescent. So bring that left hand down, turn that left heel up and the right knee. We're stepping our left foot forward to meet our right forward fold. Excellent. Take a moment here. One nice deep breath in that forward fold. Our inhale rolls us up to that long spine. Then take those feet wide. Here we go. Our inhale takes us out and up. And this is that space where if those feet a little bit narrower, a little wider, feels good, feel free to do it. Fingertips down towards the floor. Let's walk once in each direction. When you bring it on back to center, spinal twist once in each direction. Left fingertips stay down, right fingertips open up. Down through center, left fingertips open up. Back down to center. Nice. Left leg stays forward, right leg is gonna step back nice and long. Right knee meets the mat. Pressing those hips forward, finding that right hand planted, little pressure on the inside of that left knee. Again, only if it feels good. If you find pain in this range of motion, feel free to keep it right in that nice slow lunge. All right, three-legged dog transitions us to our classic lunge. Right toe curls under, right knee lifts, left leg up and back, and then sweeping it forward, planting it down, right knee meets the mat again. Exhale, presses the hips forward. Inhale, presses them back. Hamstring stretch, lengthens our left leg, left toes up towards the ceiling. Press it forward once again. Another transition through our three-legged dog brings us to half pigeon. A little briefer than last time. Right knee lifts, left leg goes up and back, and then we bring it and that shin meets the mat. Hips sink down, top of the right foot meets the mat. We'll find one breath nice and low, wherever you can get down to. And then once again, you can stay here for this next breath, or you can bring it to that quad stretch. Left hand on the inside of that shin, right toes up towards the ceiling. We'll take a breath in our quad stretch. And our exhale releases. On this side, final transition through our three-legged dog. Curl the right toe under, lift that knee, press it up and back. We're bringing it to our crescent. Sweep that left leg forward one final time. Find your balance, sweep the arms up. Warrior two, right heel turns down, arms open. Peaceful, flip the front palm, lift it up and back. You can find your half bind with your right arm around behind the back if that feels good. Exhale brings us back out to center, warrior two. Extended side angle. Left elbow can come down to that knee, right arm up over top. If you want a little more challenge, we're taking those fingertips towards the floor and not using the knee for support. So a little more core work there. You can always keep that elbow firmly planted on the knee. Inhale brings us back up to center. Triangle, lengthen that left leg. Hinge forward at those hips, fingertips out, and then left fingertips down, right fingertips up. Fabulous. Let's bring it down to our crescent, or our low crescent once again. So right fingertips come down, bend the left knee, bring that right heel up, step the right foot forward to meet the left, forward fold. All right, final time through in this meeting, inhale rolls us up. Find those nice wide legs. Let's take the arms out and up. Fold it forward. Fingertips walk once in each direction towards that first set of toes, through center, and towards our second set of toes. Back to center. Final twist once each direction. Open that right arm. Bring it down. Open the left. Bring it on down. All right. Right leg stays forward, left leg steps back. Bend those knees. Step it back into our lunge. Left knee meets the mat. Top of that left foot meets. Maybe we press it forward. Maybe we put that pressure on the inside of that right knee, opening up a little bit through that hip. Let's take our transition through our three-legged dog to our regular low lunge. Plant the hands, curl the toe, lift the knee. Right foot goes up and back, and then we sweep it forward in between those hands. Left knee meets the mat. Top of the left foot meets the mat. Our exhale presses the hips forward. Our inhale presses the hips backwards. Exhale takes us forward once again. Curl the left toe under, lift the knee. Here comes our half pigeon. Right foot goes up and back, three-legged dog. Bring it forward, plant that shin down, sink those hips down, top of the left foot meets. Feel free to sink into it. All right, guys, it looks like we have less than a minute left in our meeting. For the sake of being even, we will start the second half right from wherever we finish. So if you want to pop back in for just the first couple of minutes to finish this flow, I welcome it. If not, feel free to do whatever works best for you. From here, feel free to take it up into that quad stretch. We'll bring it around to our comfortable seat from here just to make our transition. So the left hand can come around. Our exhale releases. We're going to take our three-legged dog transition to get us to that crescent lunge so that we can even off that second side. So planting those hands, curling that left toe under, lifting the knee through our three-legged dog to our crescent. So we're sweeping that right leg forward once again, planting that foot down, finding your balance, and then sweeping those arms up into our crescent lunge. From here, when you get your balance, find your long, strong core. Let's take it to our warrior two. Turn that left heel down, open the arms. Here comes that peaceful. Flip the front palm, lift it up and back. Nice big front side body stretch. Bring it out back to center, warrior two. Here comes that extended side angle. So you can bend that right elbow, bring it down to the knee. Left arm comes up over top. Again, if you want that extra challenge, go ahead and lengthen those right fingertips towards the floor. Take them away from the knee and using your core to keep your long spine. Our next inhale brings us back up to that warrior two. Lengthen the spine, lengthen the arms. Here comes our triangle. Lengthen the right leg. Hinge forward those hips like you're grabbing that $100 bill, and then right fingertips towards the floor, left fingertips towards the ceiling. Nice, long, strong spine, not long, strong core. Let's bring it to our low crescent lunge. Left hand comes down, bend that right knee, left heel comes up, and then we're going to step that left leg forward to meet the right in our forward fold. Our next inhale rolls us up to our long spine. We'll take it to our extended mountain. Arms come up overhead, and then exhale circles the arms down and all right, so if you did pop on just to even up, thank you for joining me for this extra couple of minutes. And I hope you have a great night. If we are ready to continue to move on, we're just gonna go right back into it. Same thing, keep it flowing. Take those feet nice and wide. Our inhale takes the arms out and up. Hold it forward, fingertips towards the mat. Once each direction, fingertips towards one set of toes. Back through center. And then over towards that second set of toes. Back to center. Spinal twist, once in each direction. Left fingertips stay down, right fingertips open up. Again, if that hand is on the floor, that's fabulous. If you're lifted, you're actually using a little bit more core there. Exhale brings us down through center. Right fingertips stay down, left fingertips open up. And back to center. Alrighty, here comes that low lunge. So go ahead and bend those knees a little bit. Step that right leg back nice and long into our lunge. We're just shifting those hips forward. And then if you'd like that little bit of pressure on the inside of that knee to open up through that hip, feel free. Alrighty, let's take that transition. Anyone that works for you, but we'll move through that three-legged dog for the purpose of continuity. Lifting that right knee, left leg goes up and back. We're taking it to our lunge, our classic lunge with that foot in between those hands. That right knee meets the mat, top of the right foot meets the mat. We've got our hip flexors stretching those hips forward. And then our hamstring stretch, pressing them back, lengthening that front leg, lifting those toes, hinging forward with those hips. Lots of hamstring work today, lots of quad work today. Go ahead and bring it back out to center. We're taking our transition of choice to our half pigeon. If we're going through our three-legged dog, curl the right toe under, lift the right knee, left leg goes up and back, and then we bring it forward, placing that shin down on the mat underneath those hips, sinking those hips down nice and deep into that stretch, top of the right foot meets the mat. Feel free to take it down nice and low. Maybe you keep it on those palms because that's what feels good today. That's fine too. It's fabulous too. And if you'd like that extra quad stretch, now is a fabulous time for that. Left hand coming in front of that shin, right toes heading up towards the ceiling, right hand coming around to catch the top of that foot. And again, this is a totally optional stretch. I know it can be intense, so if it's a little too intense for you today, that's okay. Next exhale, releases it down towards that mat, brings us back to that nice, stable, centered, long spine. Our transition next is going to bring us to our crescent lunge. Curl the right toe under, lift the right knee, send that left foot up and back, and then bring it forward, plant it down. Right knee stays off the mat this time. Find your balance. Sweep those arms up. Left leg is forward, nice bent knee, nice long torso. We're going to move through this flow twice this time. Let's take it to our warrior two. Right heel turns down, arms open. Peaceful warrior, flip the front palm, lift it up and back. Bring it back out to center. Extended side angle. Again, hand can float away or elbow can be bent and make contact with that knee. Our left knee is still bent, opening through the chest. Excellent. Long spine comes back at us, lifting it up. Here comes our triangle. Lengthen the left leg, hinge forward with those hips, reach those fingertips forward and then down. Awesome. Let's bend that left knee, bring those right fingertips down, lift that right heel. Like I said, we're going to take this again. So when you get down to that nice low crescent, let's take it back to our high crescent. Sweep the arms up. Warrior two, right heel turns down, arms open. Peaceful, flip the front palm, lift it up and back. Bring it back out to center. Extended side angle, left knee stays bent. When we bring it down, you can place that elbow on the knee. You can keep it floating away. Right fingertips reach up and over. Bring it back to center. Here comes our triangle. Lengthen that left leg, hinge forward with those hips, and then bring those fingertips down. Right fingertips go up. Excellent work. We'll bring it back to our low crescent. Bend the left knee, bring those right fingertips down. Right heel lifts. Step that right foot forward to meet the left forward. Awesome. Go ahead and roll it on up with your next inhale. Excellent. Shake it out if you need to. Take a moment. Bring those feet back to that nice wide position. Maybe now is an excellent opportunity for another step. We're going to go through one more time, just hitting that second foot, evening up, and then we will pull it down. Whew. All righty. So when you're ready, we're going to start it the same way that we did with those feet, a little wider than the shoulders. Our inhale is going to take us up. Our exhale is going to fold us forward. We've got that stretch once in each direction. So towards that first set of toes, back through center, over towards that second set of toes, and back to center. Our final wide leg fold, spinal twist, left fingertips stay down, right fingertips open up. Exhale through center. Lifting that left hand this time, right fingertips stay down. And back to center. All right, awesome. Here comes that kind of wide leg lunge. We're stepping the left foot back nice and long. When it gets there, when we're in that lunge, that left knee meets that top of that left foot meets. Once again here, you can stay just in this lunge. You can put that little bit of pressure on the inside of that right knee. Nice, we're gonna make our transition just to our classic low lunge. So bring your knee back to the center line. And if a different transition is what works, feel free to, but I'm going through that three-legged dog, left toes curl under, left knee lift, right foot heads up and back. And then we're going to send it forward in between those hands when you get there. that left knee meets the mat, the top of that left foot meets the mat. Our exhale presses our hips forward. Our inhale presses them back, lengthens that front leg, lifts those front toes, hinge forward with those hips. Our exhale brings us back out nice to center, back to that low lunge. Here comes our transition to our half pigeon. Planting those hands, curling the left toe under, lifting the left knee, right foot heads up and back. And then bring it on forward once again. Shins underneath those hips. Top of that left foot meets, that left knee meets. Feel free to bring it down as low as feels good for you into this half pigeon. And our final opportunity, if you'd like to take that quad stretch on this second side, bringing it up to your long spine, right hand in front of the shin, left toes up towards the ceiling, left hand reaches around to meet the top of that foot. And if you found that stretch nice and easy, go ahead and release towards the floor. Our final transition through our three-legged dog takes us to our crescent lunge. Curl the left toe under, lift the knee, right foot heads up and back. And then we bring it forward to plant it in between those hands, getting ready for our crescent lunge. When you find your balance, sweep the arms up. Once again, we'll go through this twice. This is our final time through. Well, let's take it to our warrior two. Turn that left heel down, open the arms. Flip the front palm, peaceful, lift it up and back. Feel free to take that half bind if you'd like to. Out to center, nice long spine, warrior two. Extended side angle. Right elbow can meet the right knee or right fingertips towards the floor. Left arm comes up over top, nice big side body stretch. Inhale brings us back up, warrior two. Triangle pose, lengthens our front leg, right leg. Hinge forward with those hips. Right fingertips down, left fingertips up in that triangle pose. This is going to take us towards our final low crescent to take us back through one more time. Left fingertips come down, right knee bends, left heel comes up. Find your balance, sweep it up to our crescent. Nice. Warrior two comes next. Left heel turns down, arms open. Peaceful, flips our front palm, lifts it up and back. Feel free to take that half bind if it feels good. Take it back out to center. Final extended side angle. Right hand towards that right knee, left arm up over top. Maybe the elbow's on the knee, maybe it floats a little bit away. Inhale brings us back up to center along spine. Final time through our warrior two. Let's take it to our triangle. Lengthen the right leg. Hinge forward at those hips. Fingertips, right fingertips come down, left fingertips come up. A little bit different of a stretch than that extended side angle. And let's transition back to our low crescent. Left hand comes down, right knee bends, left heel lifts. Step that left foot forward to meet the right forward fold. Taking a moment in this forward fold, maybe you round up the spine a little bit more than you did before. Maybe you lengthen the leg more. Maybe you shake the head nice and slow in that yes or no range of motion. Next, inhale, nice and slow rolls us up to our mountain. When you get to the top, take a second, relax those shoulders low away from the ears. If maybe a little spinal twist feels good, feel free to take it. Maybe a lateral stretch feels good, feel free to take it. And then let's bring it back to that center, that mountain pose. I'm going to finish off with just a little neck stretch. So when you get there, you're going to start right shoulder. We're going to look over towards our left side. So I want you to just kind of slightly depress that right shoulder. So we're just pressing it down towards the floor. If it doesn't feel like it moves all that much, that's okay. From here, we're going to look over our left shoulder. So looking in that opposite direction, the right shoulder is down. We're looking over the left. Then I want you to just tip your left ear back just slightly. So we're opening up through this side of the neck, this really intense stretch of the neck. Maybe you look up a little bit further. Maybe you tilt a little bit further. Finding that opening through the neck. And then go ahead, bring it back up, turn the face back to center. Give those shoulders just a roll or two. Same thing other side. So this time that left shoulder is just going to depress slightly. We're looking over that right shoulder. When you get there, just tilting that right ear back just a little bit. Maybe you look up a little bit, opening through the left side. Maybe you lift the chin a little bit if that feels good. Bring that head back up, turn the face back to center. Once again, give the shoulders a roll or two. We're going to finish off our practice this evening with 3 nice deep breaths, leading with those arms. Our next inhale takes us out. Our exhale circles us down and around. Inhale takes us out and up, same exact thing. Exhale brings us down and around. And on this third one, those palms are going to meet overhead. Our inhale takes us up. Palms meet right up overhead. Exhale pulls those hands down to heart center. Alrighty, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on this fabulous Monday evening yoga practice. The light in the honors, the light in you, bowing as we say, namaste.